My name is John McNamara. I'm the Chief Executive of the Alliance of Sector Skills Councils, and delighted to be here at our first annual conference. And I suppose I should open by saying the idea of this conference is to bring as many stakeholders as possible here today, as well as Sector Skills Councils. And we've obviously got a good audience of SSEs here today, but also awarding bodies, training providers, local authorities, government people from local and central governments, and across all of the UK. The key thing for me is this is a UK organisation covering England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. And we've just had a fantastic panel session which Chris Humphreys chaired from the UKCS, based around what the four nations are doing to respond to coming out of recovery. And that for me was a key theme of today, that the UK organisation, there are very few in the UK that can claim to cover employers across all four countries, and that's a really important thing. And the UKCS can say the same thing, by the way, but it's important for us as Sector Skills Councils, bearing in mind that we stand for driving up skills, improving productivity and performance and profitability. And if you think about getting out of recession, skills and doing it right are a key element for that, and we're driving that as SSEs. In terms of what is going to come up later in the day, is we're in various workshops now looking at things like employability in small businesses. We've got some future-looking workshops in the afternoon around low carbon renewables, for example, and some of the other challenges that we face as Sector Skills Council. So I'm looking forward to that. And the Minister, Kevin Brennan, is speaking at 4 o'clock, which will really bring a policy sort of finale to the day. And I think that's going to be quite an important session to hear direct from government what they think about employer groups, what they think about Sector Skills Councils and what the future is. So all in all, it's been, and we've tried to balance the sort of input sessions with practical. Just been in one workshop upstairs on small businesses, and they're all doing stuff and talking, and that's the main thing of conferences for me. It's talking to people around you, and if you look around, the mix of people is fantastic.
2010 general election and the Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all betting on May the 6th. Thank you, Bob Ainsworth. That's the sort of planning date. So people will go into Purda, I suppose, towards the end of March. We are obviously, as an alliance representing our members, very, very close to all the opposition parties in Westminster, and we've worked, on an equal basis, we're apolitical, on an equal basis with government and the opposition parties, to let them know why employers are important in this skills mix. Why it's important that you keep investing in sectors, and why the sector view of life for employers is very, very important. And as you know, today we're launching a report that we commissioned with Baker Tilly on just measuring that impact of SSEs. And you can get access to that through our website, but flyers are available here today to give you a background. But in the shorthand of that report is having examined 5 of them in detail, if you include skill set, energy and utility skills, people first, skills for health and cogent. Those 5 SSEs, if you invest £1 worth of government money in them, they multiply that by 20 times. The amplification value is enormous. And if they weren't there, you'd have to spend money to do that to have the same impact. Now, that's the first time we've had that empirical evidence, hard evidence of reach and impact. So our line to all the parties that are going to go into this election are, look, these things are led by employers, they're right on the front line, they are delivering, and they more than deliver any investment you make in them. So if you give us more money, we'll do even more and get you out of some of the issues you've got with skills and recovery even quicker. What we're also doing in the run-up to the election is publishing our own manifesto. So we intend to publish a draft before the election itself, with the final one addressed to all the parties, just setting out what Sector Skills Council stand for and what we believe in and what employers want. And that includes things like, some clarity and some simplicity, and don't keep changing the system. Give us some sort of. I know that in business life you can't expect certainty and stasis. Nothing stays the same. But employers are saying to us, well, when a government changes and when things happen and the whole thing goes thrown up in the air again, we're following this and trying to understand it, and that's why we need Sector Skills Councils, among others, to lead the way and guide them and help them signpost them. So one of the things in that manifesto is around trying to make this system less, more easily understandable, less complex, less elephantine. It's sort of it's highways and byways, and that's part of the role of SSEs as well, to make that easier for employers.
Your relationship with ALP?
Very, very close. I mean, I think we work with AOC and ALP, not to mention the Federation of Awarding Bodies, where I came from originally, in the dim and distant past. It's very, very important. The provider element to this, and we forget that at our peril. You can have all the policies and the frameworks and the new qualifications and funding runs you like, but someone's got to deliver it on the front line. And most contact that employers and learners have in the skill system is with the person that's in the front of the room or at the workplace as a tutor or a lecturer or a personal advisor. And that is so important. And one of the things we've done as an alliance is and we've encouraged, is to form that tripartite working group between us, AOC and ALP. Very important we keep doing that because, let's face it, in 2010-11 it's going to be a tough financial year for all of us. In 2011-12, I suspect it will be even more challenging, and we've just got to be smarter and work together a lot more effectively.
That's great. Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add?
I suppose really from my perspective a plea on behalf of employers, and that's to policymakers, to governments across all nations, is please don't forget, employers of all shapes and sizes need some continuity and some certainty in this current period. And as some of the speakers said earlier on today, including Chris Humphreys and others, the way out of this recession is by improved business performance. Half of our country is made up of small firms. We need those guys to perform. We need more small firms. We need to encourage entrepreneurship and enterprise in every area of life across all four nations. And we've got to do it. That's where recovery is.
Further on from that, skilling an older generation.
Yeah, I think one of the questions in the open session was around the sort of grey market, bearing in mind the demographics. And certainly as retirement ages go up, as they will in the next 20 or so years, there's a whole market there in terms of making sure people's skills are kept current and alive. And that's, again, where sector skills councils come in as far as employers are concerned, to make sure that vital resource is reskilled, upskilled as we go forward. And the investment equally needs to be in that area. That's why we totally support the All Ages Career Service. Information, advice and guidance across all ages, all nations in the UK, absolutely vital for the future. And as Chris Humphreys was saying, the Alliance and the Commission have formed this joint working group, and some very senior people in that group. Joanna Wolf, who's Chief Executive Cogent, chairs it. Larry Hurst from IBM is on there. We've got some very heavy hitters on that group who are going to focus on that area. How do we make sure that, that we work together to deliver it in 2010?